Welcome into Jets Nation Radio, sponsored by Betway. Make sure you like and subscribe to Jets Nation Radio so you never miss a podcast. Welcome to Jets Nation Radio. Be sure to check out the latest NHL odds with online sports book Betway. Wow. Who would have thought that the simple sentence would be very hard?
First try.
Yeah,
nothing,
we're
nothing
definitely not
here.
struggling to read. Dyslexia does not exist. Boys, how's it going?
Oh, fantastic. Had a very stress-free week not having to watch Jets hockey.
At the same time, you had to kind of dwell on what Kevin Cheveldayoff had to say last week, which was a whole lot of nothing, but at the same time, telling the fans that they need to be happy about 2 whiteout parties, not the best look there, homeboy.
I'm very focused on the fact that the Jets are going to get new jerseys next year, and all is going to be fine. There's nothing we can do about it. I'm just along for the ride this offseason. We're going to have a good time. Either the Jets run it back and we just give up on them altogether, or we're getting a little bit of a rebuild, which I'm for one looking forward to. It'll happen this summer, or it will be forced into it next summer. So
we can have one more year of just like, oh, cool. So Mark Scheifele didn't do his back check. Blake Wheeler's playing his heart out, but also doesn't care because, that's just Blake Wheeler. And Connor Hellebuck's sad because he won't win a Stanley Cup in Winnipeg. So, yeah, everyone's happy.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
We're somehow going to end up with Ehlers being the only player getting traded this offseason.
Yeah.
Don't you wish that evil upon us, Sam Brownell?
Yeah, it's really just unfortunate. Like, Cheveldayoff in that press meeting, it was just like not a lot of like action oriented, and just kind of almost like played off the season where they met the standards that they put at the beginning of the year. And you don't really see them taking a lot of accountability for wanting to make the team better, or if they actually do have the pieces needed to make a great team. So it's just a lot of like not really changing what you need to change, and more just kind of accepting where you are and like making minimal changes towards and not really doing what you seriously need to consider doing.
I will say Cheveldayoff is notorious for keeping things tight to the vest. Like, he's not going to give us any hint about what he has planned. So I do think we can take some solace in the fact that there's probably more going on behind the scenes than we're giving them credit for. And as much as they're like outwardly like not trying to throw anyone under the bus, behind the scenes there may be a lot more going on.
But we said the exact same thing last summer. It's like, well, they like to keep it close to the chest, blah blah blah.
Last summer they came out and said this year was an anomaly.
But you only played 5 extra games of hockey. Like, I know that the standard is make the playoffs.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be the same as last summer at all. I'm just saying we can't, just because Cheveldayoff isn't coming out and being like, hey, we're blowing it up.
But no, but if he
says that, then guys' trade value goes down.
Yeah, but he could at least be like, hey, we are going to look at a new direction, or can you give us direction? Because
what does he gain? What does he gain from giving us that information?
I think he loses season tickets. Like, how many season ticket holders are pissed about this? There's tons of them. Like, they DM me all the time, Sam. They're like, I'm not going to be spending my money. And it's like, good. I hope you go to Mexico or whatever with your savings. Maybe go send it to your kids. Like,
but I do think ultimately the only thing that's going to bring people back is winning hockey games and putting this team in the right direction. I don't think saying it now is going to change anything. There's people who've made up their mind, completely understandable, and are no longer going to get season tickets. But I don't think Cheveldayoff coming out and being like, oh, we're going in a completely different direction is going to do the team any good, because all that does is drive down guys' trade value.
Yeah, but when you're calling around the NHL to be like, hey, what would you take for Pierre-Luc here? And like, it gets around the league because that there's snitches around the league.
Yeah, but everything gets amplified when you put it out into the media. Well, so I just don't think I think what we've seen from him over the last decade has been keeping things tight, keeping things in-house, and I don't think we're going to see them stray away from that anytime soon.
I think that,
and ultimately we'll see what happens this offseason. But
Yeah, I would say Cheveldayoff is definitely a guy that's not going to outwardly tell you, yeah, we're going to rebuild or something like that. But I think it's a big balancing act between kind of like appeasing like what he needs to do as a manager, but also kind of showing that the fans and like the media that like, yeah, there's going to be change happening. I think back in like I've looked at like the trades he's made in the past, and I've seen that he's not afraid to trade away people if they're not gonna be in a successful situation. Think back to like the Andrew Kopp trade and like many other trades in the past where it's you don't really see it coming, and like I think that Cheveldayoff definitely has some plans behind the scenes where he does want to address change, but I think there's a big balancing act between making sure that he can do his job and trade guys if he sees fit for the value that he needs to get for them, but also kind of appease the fans in a way where the fans know that like yeah, Cheveldayoff definitely is trying to do something to change the room or to change the players or something like that. But I think he's like he can't really be in the middle. Like a lot of things he's done has been very middle and kind of not doing too much but not doing too little. So I think with Cheveldayoff, he's definitely going to go into some kind of waters he's never been in before, and it's going to be interesting to see what type of change if change is what happens actually comes to fruition.
But you can't continuously be a cheap ass and be like, oh well, I can't get a fantastic trade for Mark Scheifele, so I'm just gonna leave it. If I can't win, then nobody gets him. And like
Well,
you've kind of kicked the can down the road so often, it's like you can't be
we've
cheap
never
like
seen
this.
Cheveldayoff do that though. We've never lost a big piece for nothing.
No, and that's what I'm saying. But sometimes like you have to move on from these guys, like some of these players. Like it just, I
Well, now is the time we're going to see that happen though.
yeah,
Like we would never have really seen that in the past. Even last offseason, like we could see the fact that guys were underperforming the year before. Now that we've seen it 2 years in a row, now is the time for them to
it's
do that.
funny
I
we
don't
say
think
they
last
underperform.
offseason. What?
It's funny that we say underperform for like as a team they underperform, but like a lot of guys had like really good seasons for
This year, yes, but
Oh, you're talking the season before, yeah.
the season before, I'm saying a lot of guys were underperforming. That's when they said, "Well, we're not going to blow it up now because we know that there's more potential in this team."
Mm-hmm.
And we saw flashes of it this year, but I think the stuff going on behind the scenes is what really obviously dragged the Jets down. So I just think now it makes sense for the team to go full. Like obviously this core isn't going to do it. This was kind of the last hurrah. I don't think we should just be assuming that nothing's going to happen this offseason. I think we should probably be assuming the opposite, and we'll see what actually ends up happening. But this is kind of unprecedented territory for this franchise.
Yeah, I want to mention one thing from the Cheveldayoff presser where he was comparing the end of season discussions with the players from last season to this season. He said last season it was a lot of just kind of disappointment and kind of having that kind of mentality that like, yeah, we want to get better, we want to be a better team. And he said this year was like drastically less time with the players and kind of the players kind of commended Cheveldayoff for giving them the shot to be a team that can contend for the playoffs. So I think that the players kind of also realize that like, hey, this kind of band may not be able to last forever. So I think it's not just management that realizes they need change, but I think the players also have a kind of sense that something also may be a bigger change than what they've seen in the past. And they kind of realize that not everyone is going to be able to stay and not every single piece of the team is going to be able to compete for a Stanley Cup as one team.
But that happens every single year. We know we're not going to see Sam Gagner with the Winnipeg Jets next year. And like, Axel Johnson-Fialbi might not be kicking around. And that's, just the way it goes. But we just need an indication from Cheveldayoff with what this core is going to be next year. Like, again, just for the fans,
Again,
like, we don't need.
But I
we
mean,
don't need
the
to know
season
that
itself,
Blakely was going out, but we need to know it. Like, are we going in a new direction or are we going to run it back? Like, I don't care what needs to happen.
we need to know that at all.
I think
Like
one
we'd
thing
like
that
to.
I think one thing that will definitely be a big factor is I don't think Cheveldayoff is going to tell us, hey, we're going to do this. But I think by judging based off his actions and signings and trades and kind of draft, I think we can definitely see like what his thought process is and say we see like a trade like Dubois or something like that and like say like one other piece from the team, we can be like, okay, we see him trading these pieces for future pieces rather than for immediate NHL replacements. So I think the kind of general idea would be like, based on his actions instead of what he's saying, is how we can expect the team to move forward into the future.
And I mean, like, other than the Rangers a few years ago, when have you ever seen a team come out like the season's not over? Our season maybe, but the league is still going. Like, we still have the draft, free agency, all of that going on. So other than the Rangers a couple of years back, when have you ever seen a team come out and be like, hey, this is what we're doing this offseason?
Didn't Tampa Bay give us some long apology to be like, yeah, we're going to run this baby back because this wasn't good enough?
Well, that was after they had the best record in NHL history and got swept.
Yeah. But
they might not have gotten swept that year, but they lost in the first round.
But like, I guess I just want transparency. I'm not going to get it. I'm just being a big baby about it. I get it.
But I don't think the team gains anything, and I get it, fan satisfaction, but the fans aren't going to be satisfied until the team is winning. So I don't think it benefits the team winning at all to come out and be like, yeah, this is exactly what we're going to do this offseason. There's so much more that needs to happen. You got to see what trades you could actually get. Like, again, Cheveldayoff is not going to give guys away for nothing.
Yeah.
So you have to see what kind of value these players have on the market. It's not the strongest free agent class this year. Nope. So guys like Scheifele may have, and Dubois even, as 1 year rentals may have pretty big price. Values.
But like, just I think with the effort from this team, a lot of people are frustrated. And maybe that's why folks are wanting a core change, just because it's like, well, you've seen the same half-assery from this team year in, year out, where it's that hot start and then things get really cold.
I do also think
so.
The upset side of fans gets a little amplified more than the people who are just like, hey, I love the Jets. I'm happy they're back. I'm along for this ride. Like, I obviously want them to win, but I'm not going to stop watching or whatever just because they're not doing their best. So, like,
oh yeah, I've never understood the argument to not watch the Jets because they're bad. I know one of the other Jets podcasts has been pretty upset about it, but yeah, you can't stop watching because the team's bad.
And and if you do, you're just going to lose your team. Like, yeah, a team can't be, I get it. We want more success, obviously. But since the Jets have been back, how many teams realistically have won the cup since 2011? Because, I mean, you got Chicago 3 times. You have Boston once.
Tampa twice.
LA twice. Tampa twice. Pittsburgh twice. Like,
it's like maybe
it's a process. Teams. You're not just going to snap your fingers and
just win a cup.
Exactly. I mean, these teams suffered, like Chicago before they went on that run. There was talks about them losing their team because the rink was always empty. Like, you got to keep supporting these teams for them to keep doing
well,
to stay around. I mean, we're not a big market. You got to support, and hopefully they get more of that corporate side of support, like we talked about last week. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be great if corporate sponsors would put more money into Canada Life. Like, that would be amazing. Like, I went to Megadeth Friday night, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of empty seats in here, but I really wish we could figure out a way to get more corporate seats that just aren't the suites. Like, get 300, like a corporate sponsor in the 300s. That'd be amazing. So, but it'll happen. Something will change with this team, and like I've got a good feeling moving forward that corporate stuff's going to take care of things. So that was a fun debate. Okay. So Snoop Dogg and Ryan Reynolds are looking to purchase the Sens. What do you think this means for the NHL?
You're missing the newest one. The Weekend is also in it.
Yeah.
Now. No way. Did I miss that too?
Yeah.
And the price keeps going up because all of these people are joining in. I think it's fantastic for the NHL.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that the Ottawa Senators are like one of the lowest, they're worth the least in the league, or worth some of the least money in the league, and the fact that they're worth $1 billion, which is going to skyrocket the price of every other team.
Exactly. One
Yeah.
deal like this does kind of raise that profile and that price for every other team.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
that's
I think it's really good because like you're seeing people like celebrities and like these people actively going out for a team like, and it's not even like a big like a huge market team, and it's a Canadian team too. So I think it just shows that there's a lot of people that have passion about hockey and want to get into this business of being an owner. We've seen this with like with many other like the amount of people that are interested in this team from Snoop Dogg to the Weekend to Ryan Reynolds. I think it's just it shows that there's a lot of change coming with ownership in the NHL, and that like not every owner is going to be someone that's just kind of sitting back in the background, but someone that can be kind of like a symbol for that team and kind of someone that is also like in their own right, like popular for their own reasons. And I think that it kind of combines a lot of different ideas that you can do in the future as well.
also
I
right.
don't know how much you guys have been following along with like Wrexham Football Club with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney bought that club, and like that. So the backstory is essentially like this club has been stuck in fifth tier of English soccer or like European soccer for 16 years or something. Like it's almost like a record. And this year they finally just got promoted because these guys bought it and put their star power into it to bring eyes and fill seats, but also they put the money into it that needed to be done to get up to that next level. So I think having even like the marketing of a guy like Ryan Reynolds, who I mean is just what he's done with Mint Mobile and Aviation Gin and like all of his companies has been incredible. I mean, Snoop Dogg's going to bring a whole other aspect to that, as is the Weekend. So I think it's so good for hockey.
So of those three guys, which one do you think would be the best for the Ottawa Senators and the NHL to own?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't
They
know?
all bring their positives.
Okay.
Yeah, there isn't a wrong choice, I would say.
No.
Like a lot of different people can see it as a different way, but I personally I think Ryan Reynolds would be the best option just because of how he's had businesses in the past, and he's also a Canadian boy at heart, and like I think he has been in or like lived in Ottawa for some like for a period of time. So I think that Ryan Reynolds could definitely be one of the best options so far, but not that any option is inherently bad or wouldn't be able to do a better job than Ryan Reynolds. But I think that Ryan Reynolds would be my pick if I had to choose.
I think for the Senators, the best option was probably Reynolds. I do think, though, for growing the game, Snoop Dogg actually might be the best option. Hearing him, I don't know if you guys heard him on First Take this week after it was announced that he was interested, and hearing him talk about just wanting to grow the game and show kids like that look like him, hey, like there's room in this game for you as well. And he has the Snoop youth football and youth basketball leagues, and he wants to do the same with hockey. And hockey is a sport that's so hard to get into because of how expensive it is, and having that league where they're providing for these players to get into the game, I think that would be so good to help grow the game. Like his football league has a bunch of players. I think the second overall pick in this year's NFL draft what played in the Snoop Youth Football League. So like it's such a good pathway for these kids who might not necessarily have been able to afford to play hockey in the past, might get that opportunity now, and that just gets like helps grow the game because I mean there's more people able to play it, there's more competition, there's better players, like all of that.
Yeah, I was basically going to say the exact same thing, Sam. So thank you for covering that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And if the Jets could get a celebrity owner, is there someone that you'd be like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool?
Snoop Dogg doesn't sound so bad after that explanation right there. Being able
I
to
mean,
kind
none of them, all of those guys would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Thinking of Winnipeg celebrities, though, I think Chris Jericho would be the one. I think he'd grow the Jets internationally with his platform.
Hugely. That'd be amazing. Like because he's huge in Japan too, though. Like that'd be crazy if you had just Japanese tourists coming out to Winnipeg, check things out. Tourism Winnipeg, we got an idea for you. give me a call. Okay, so this is something I was actually thinking about after I sent the question. So, surprise question. In the next 5 years, are the Jets going to be in a better spot or in a worse? Actually, 3 years. Jets are going to be in a better spot or a worse spot.
What are we considering better? Like, or better standings or better overall position of the team? Because I don't think they're going to be a better team in terms of standings, but I think that in those not necessarily next year, but into the future, I think we're going to have a better overall understanding of what this team is and kind of like what identity we want to have and kind of what direction we're going into the future. So sure, might not be a better team than what we were this year, but I think that the overall like implants of a great team with a young emerging core and some players that actually give it their all 100% of the time, I think that will be in a better spot. Yeah. Yes. A lot. I think we'll have. Yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay. I think a lot can happen in 3 years, and I think we're going to be in a better spot just because it's 3 years down the road. And if I was saying anything else, I'd be crying. So, I do think like they've got some really good young pieces that they can start to build around with Devenchitis or whatever the hell his name is.
Wow, we gotta start clipping all of these names.
Compilation.
McGroarty and Lambert and Lucius. I do think they have some pieces there to build around. They just need to like keep moving in that direction.
Oh, 100%. Like I feel so good about DeVicentis.
Dom. Double D.
Double D. Ooh, double D. I love it. Dude's been fantastic and just like seems like such a positive guy. Like anytime he posts on social media, it just makes my day that much better. And Rutger, his big old smile, and he's supporting his homies all the time too. Like I can't wait till that guy's in Winnipeg. So
yeah, we also got to mention Dom, the OHL goalie of the year as well. So
yes.
Nice to see that he is getting some recognition and still in the playoffs.
And this afternoon, trying to put his team through to the finals.
Things are going right for this young guy. I'm excited to see him in action, and hopefully he didn't use all his good goalie voodoo early on and tank for the rest of it. But yeah, like things do feel positive with this team. It's just kind of getting through this mushy middle, I guess. Like, yeah, where the Jets just haven't been good enough to do anything great, but the future feels bright. Josh Morrissey, not a Norris finalist. Are we shocked?
No.
I mean, he kind of slumped towards the end of the year. He was tied for second in defensive points, but I mean, he was tied with Quinn Hughes, who also isn't a finalist. So I think it's Carlson's award to lose. It sucks that it's just like the same guys get nominated every single year. Like, obviously, Makar is sick. He only played 3/4 of the season. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I'm not really surprised either because with a Defenseman of the Year award, there's so many good defensemen, and it's not like a good defenseman just going to go away after 1 year. You can win multiple Norrises in a year. So I think it just shows that the awards kind of need updating where you have not more awards, but like you have awards that kind of tailored to more positions where there's 2 goaltender awards. There's a lot of forward awards with like the Hart. Like the Hart doesn't have to be necessarily a forward, and then there's like the Richard and there's many other awards. And I think defense is just kind of left behind with only having the Norris primarily as the award that only defensemen can have. So I think me and Sam were saying about having like a Bobby Orr award where you recognize that player or that defenseman for having the most amount of points as a defenseman, but then you're also allowing for a defenseman that may not be the most offensive guy, but is the most just overall like best defenseman. So then you're recognizing the very top of defenseman where you're contributing to your team's offensive output, but you're also recognizing someone that may not be like dominating the score sheet every night.
But and I mean, the NHL has the Selke, which is defensive forward. It's kind of nuts. There's no defensive defenseman award.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never mind. I was gonna say something, but Sam, you ruined it by saying something about the Selkie, so never mind.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say like looking for defensive defensemen. Like, isn't that more of just an eye test to like see how a guy's doing?
Not really.
Not well. I know, I know you
there's advanced
can.
stats.
Like, I know that there's advanced stats, and I know that you can like break it down, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I am an eyesight kind of a guy, and I know it doesn't.
I think there's so
well.
much that goes into the awards. It wouldn't be that hard to find the best defensive defenseman or like the best all around. Like you don't want a guy getting you don't want a Brendan Dillon necessarily. You don't think of that as the guy that's going to get that award, despite him being pretty shut down defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You want a guy that's more all around, like a Adam Fox or Dougie Hamilton had an unbelievable year. I thought he should have been in that Norris conversation. So,
all right. All right. So Jets are like the players are off exploring the world. If you could travel with one jet, where are you going to with them?
that's a good question.
I have a person. I'm not sure if I have a destination, but I'll say Cole Perfetti and probably like on like Hawaii or something like that because me and Cole Perfetti are the same age, so I think we'd be able to like connect more and be able to like talk about more things that kind of intertwine. And I think just going on a vacation with someone like that is just like you're able to like talk about more stuff and then like say like Adam Lauer, like I'm not sure what I would even say to that guy because he's just such a beast and like me and Cole are like around the same height, so I wouldn't feel like intimidated at all. So yeah, being comfortable, I guess.
I'm gonna say Nate Schmidt and wherever the hell he wants to go. This is just such a happy guy. I just want to hang out with him.
It's fair. He does seem like a good guy to hang out with, especially if you just like if you don't have to go on a family trip with him. Like he'd be like a little bit more outrageous and be willing to do slightly crazier things.
I think whatever setting he's in, he's just his true self. So
I don't know. You ever see a dad on vacation? Like they're happy, but like, are they really happy?
Schmidt's always happy.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, personally, it's a toss up between Connor Hellebuck and a great fishing trip or Adam Lowry and heading out to Europe because I think that would be fun.
The fact you didn't pick Gags is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
No, and like I was thinking about like what would I do with Sam Gagne? And I just like I think he would be super boring. Like that dude he's like Connor McDavid. He's just a robot.
I do think Dubois would be fun to.
Yeah.
You could get into some misadventures with Pierre-Luc.
Well, Stenlund and Barron are in France right now.
Not even shocked.
Yeah. With someone on the Blue Jackets.
I think it's Benstrom, yeah. I saw that.
Is that who they were playing PS2 with the other night?
Maybe. I don't
I
know.
have no clue. But he's part of the Columbus system, so they probably had some connection.
Bunch of dweebs. Listen, cut off ties with the old team. You are loyal to us until the bitter end.
That end may be coming sooner than later.
Bye, Pierre-Luc. So, who are you guys cheering for in the rest of the playoffs? Are you following the Oilers or the Leafs, or are you cheering for an American team?
Not
I know.
It's Oilers, Canes in the final.
06 repeat?
Repeat of 2006, but Oilers win this time. Just to get the cup back in Canada.
I have a different one. I'm cheering for Florida because I think what they were able to do against Boston was really no one really expected them to do that. And I think that like they almost have like the magic beans that LA had as the 8th seed. So I think it would be really cool to see a team that not many people even had making it past the first round to really kind of upset some teams that you wouldn't expect them to upset. So I think that and with the market too, like having a cup in Florida when you've had Tampa just kind of overshadow you for so many years, I think it would be really great for that fan base and for the NHL to have a team like that who was so just underestimated win it all.
Speaking of Florida, Angus.
Yeah, I know. Now I got to figure out a way to get down to Florida. I look like a big old dweeb.
I thought that was the worst take ever. And there was so for background for anyone who doesn't remember, before the season started, there was some page that came out and said that Florida was going to finish first in their division and Winnipeg was going to miss the playoffs. And Angus said something to the effect of, if Florida finishes better than Winnipeg, he'll go to Florida and fight a Gator. And there was a minute during the season it looked like you were going to be fine, but
I was
someone's
really
still playing hockey.
Yeah, what the hell, Paul Maurice? Like, I was like, yeah, no, shut her down. Like, I don't have to go to Florida, and maybe I'll go buy myself a Sam Gagner jersey. Nope. I got to figure out a way to get to Florida. Wrestle a baby gator. Hopefully. Something under 3 feet, and I should be fine.
So you need to learn when the take is not worth it.
The take was there. I was feeling good. And I mean, it's not my fault that Sam Bennett decided to go murder some people and Matthew Tkachuk put the rest of his team on his back. So
Tkachuk is a 100-point scorer. Of course he's going to put the team on his back.
Yeah, I just didn't think they had enough in the tank, because I mean, you see enough teams with 100-point guys, you're like, nah, they're not going to do it.
But this is the President's Trophy winner that added a 100-point guy.
And they added Paul Maurice with the Stahl brothers. It was like, nah, not a chance there, son. Bobrovsky, he's gonna fall off the wheel here. Like, $10 million goalies, what a joke.
Hellebuck to soon join that club.
You know what? I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up taking a decrease so he can win a cup. Like, he'll probably leave Winnipeg because of that, but he'll take a decrease to go.
Like, how much money do you need? Wouldn't you rather take?
I genuinely could see him taking
7 or 8 mil over 11 mil and win a cup.
I think he would sign like a 3-year deal with someone for 7.5 mil and just like take that and then go win his cup and then go get paid until he's 38.
Yeah.
Which,
and then
I mean,
sign the big ticket after.
Yeah, win your cup, go sign the big ticket, pull a Tim Thomas, and just disappear into the ethos. It's gonna be the way it goes. Devils and Canes this afternoon. Who do you got?
Canes. They just look too good.
I think I'll go with New Jersey just because of how they kind of started that game or the series with New York, where they went down 0-2 and then were able to find their magic then. So I think New Jersey may have a more difficult time against the Canes finding that, but like with them beating New York, like you got to think that they have something that they're able to fight back with.
Yeah, I don't think New Jersey's going to get swept, but I don't think they're winning this series.
Fair enough. Leafs and Panthers.
Leafs have got to win one, right?
You'd think.
I want to say Florida.
I also want to say Florida.
I've got my gut tells me Florida too. Like, if the Panthers don't come out like the Edmonton Oilers last night, oh, they are done. Like, yeah. Also, Leon Draisaitl, I stand by my original thoughts of I would start a team with Leon over McDavid, and I'm really standing by that point now.
I still disagree.
Yeah, well,
Brownell and I were actually talking about that this week. How bad of a take that is.
That's a great take, and you guys are
not
wrong.
a good take.
I don't think
Draisaitl is an unreal player, but he's not getting 140 without McDavid.
Yeah, he's still going to be
he's going to be around 100 every year, while McDavid's still going to be getting
guy.
like 140.
He'd be 110 points easy.
But it wouldn't be as consistent. Like, McDavid's he's the best player on the planet.
Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're picking anyone but him, you're wrong.
And I'm standing by my Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky argument of like, yeah, Wayne Gretzky was amazing and like the GOAT, but Mark Messier was the better all around guy. And that's the guy I'm going to build around rather than McDavid.
So dumb.
It's the best.
So dumb. It's insane.
It's so insane that it works. You got to buy into it, Sam. The insanity will pay off.
I think it's just funny how you're saying to build a team around not the best player in the NHL.
No, you don't need to build around the best player. You need to build around guys with heart and soul. You need your
also all things equal. Every other guy on the team is the exact same. You're picking Draisaitl over McDavid.
Yes.
Everything else equal. Everyone else is the same.
So like, wait, hold on. When you're saying this,
wrong.
when you are saying this, are we talking about a team that I have built or an Oilers team? Because those are two very different things. If I am building for a Leon Draisaitl, I'm not building an Edmonton Oilers. That's not a team built for Leon Draisaitl. You bring Leon Draisaitl to Winnipeg.
I'm saying everything else equal, just a regular NHL team.
Yes.
You're picking Leon Draisaitl over Connor McDavid. You are absolutely wrong.
If I am building a team, for Leon Draisaitl, 100%.
But again, no, we're not talking about Taylor making a team to one guy, because then that guy's not the guy you build around.
What do you mean that's not the guy you build around?
McDavid can play with anyone. McDavid's going to elevate anyone.
Can he? There's been
the
lineup of players who cannot keep up with the Connor McDavid is outstanding. They could stand blocks and blocks without playing with Connor McDavid didn't help you. So your point's moot. You can't just put anyone there. It was a miracle Pat Maroon worked, but we've got our Ty Raddies, we've got our Taylor Halls, our Nail Yakupovs, like the list goes on and on.
Those guys were playing with McDavid when he was 17 years old.
18 to 22, thank you.
You're just...
I think Angus is just digging a hole, and I think he's just refusing to put down the shovel.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no. Angus wouldn't do that.
Never.
Angus wouldn't find himself in a bad take and double down.
I will triple down on this bitch.
Just like Morrissey was the 16th in voting.
Oh, buddy. Listen, it was a beautiful May night. I was several IPAs in, which are awful, but I had to drink them because they're just sitting there. There may have been some marijuana. I can't guarantee that one or not, but it was a bad time for me to see something on Facebook and be like, yeah, my boomer brain just went for it. So RIP the bad take, but lots of views, and that's the important thing. People can think I'm a moron, but at least I'm having fun.
Get some clicks.
That's your prerogative.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally I get things right. So that's the important thing. And so I let you guys mostly debate it out nowadays, is because I realize I'm usually wrong. And I like to listen to people who are right.
You swing for the fences, and that you're batting 100, but when you connect,
buddy,
going yard.
Yeah. We're talking about the most strikeouts, but some of the most beautiful homers when they land. Everyone's impressed.
Yeah, me and Sam are just going for the singles and doubles.
Yeah. You want a guy that just believes in absolute nonsense every single day. And that really, the goal of Jets Nation is to find more people that get things consistently right. And that way I can read and listen to them and not have to do any of this. So, that's the goal. I just need the money to start paying people. So welcome to the plans of Jets Nation. Now everyone knows our business plan. Well, before we head out, we should thank our great friends at Betway. So be sure to check out the latest NHL odds with online sportsbook Betway. You guys, where can we find you out in the ethos?
You can find me, Ray, at ray.howe, or Brad Lambert is him on Instagram. And I'm hoping that we can see some change this offseason, and Angus can have some more terrible takes.
Yeah, I can't wait for all of that. It is SBrownell12 on Twitter, Sam Brownell Radio on Instagram, and let's buckle up and have a hell of an off season. It's going to be a ride one way or the other.
You guys live for my bad takes, and that's what makes this podcast so great. You can find me, Angus Hout, on Instagram and Twitter. If you see me hanging out with 92.1 City, say hi. I'd like to say hi to you guys. Maybe you could win something. And finally, follow Jets Nation wherever, all the social medias. Make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast, and jetsnation.ca. Have a good week there, guys. And go Jets. Well, may the Jets make some good decisions.
Go. Let's have a great offseason.
Go Jets go.
Boys are working on their golf game.
Yeah, Mark Scheifele's going to be a pro.
He's a sick golfer.
He is. I'm a little jealous.